A $1.1 million dilapidated house. Let's have a look. Good afternoon everyone, Florian Heise here, with my stein of coffee in hand, and I thought we'd have a look at this article about a dilapidated house that's expected to go for $1.1 million in Sydney at auction. $1.1 million. So let's have a look at the house and ask ourselves, is it worth it? Is this the sign of a boom? So we'll jump over here to the real estate listing. So the auction is expected for the 12th of the 12th. So understandably, they're getting free publicity on news.com. They would love it. So it's at 36 Herbert Street, Leichhardt in New South Wales. It is on a block of 307 square meters. So just, what we do is if you take the area, or 1.1 million, and let's divide that by the land, because we're pretty much just paying for the land. That's $3,500 per square meter of land. $3,500. That's equivalent. That's how much you'd pay to get a very high-end house built. The construction cost of a high-end house, just as a reference. So that land is pretty expensive because the house, and these are the two images they have. I mean, she's a bit tired. Little worker's cottage. Yard needs a bit of work. I mean, could be quite nice there with those beautiful big trees. And here's the plan. Little 3-bedroom worker's cottage with a kitchen, dining, bath, and an outhouse. Guys, an outhouse. So, cool. That's, yeah, an outhouse. So, what do you think? 1.1 million. What's the real estate spin on it? Perhaps best considered to be the worst house in the street, this extremely dilapidated freestanding residence is nonetheless a great opportunity for those with creative vision and determination. Sitting on over 300 square meters of level land, the home is particularly practically unlivable, as is yet promised extraordinary prospects for a major enhancement or a complete redevelopment of the site, subject of course to appropriate council permissions. There is serious untapped potential here for a revamp or fresh new start. Either way, it represents a unique chance to capitalize on what is one of the last remaining original homes in the area. Well, there you go. It's an old workers' cottage. So let's have a look here. This is the suburb. So there you go. It's just south of the harbour. Not too far from it at all. Not too far from it at all. But we have a look. What do we got here? There you go. You're walking distance to the train line, so you'll be able to hear the trains all the time. You're very close to the train line. Just get down on the street level. There you go. Look at the houses that you got there. I mean, 300 meters, guys, that's a small lot here in Brisbane. It's a small lot. It's very tight. We've got small lot codes to get in. People have been buying blocks that are bigger and chopping them up to get these little tiny ones. And look at, all the other houses here. I mean, they're nice little workers' cottages. Guys, $1 million. $1 million. And apparently we're not in a boom. Apparently we're not in a boom. So, an extremely dilapidated and practically unlivable home is on sale in Sydney's inner west suburb of Leichhardt with an eye-watering auction guide of $1.1 million. The 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom property on Hubert Street, Leichhardt, has been described by its agents as disturbingly ugly, depressingly dingy, and completely without charm. While the property does not require prospective buyers to sign a waiver before viewing the house, the estate agents do give a clear warning of what buyers can expect. Enter at own risk. Once in a lifetime chance? No, I don't think it is. David Eastway from Hudson McHugh, the estate agent for the property, told news.com.au that the property was a total shocker. A total shocker. What's going on here with my thing? This is the worst house I've ever seen, and originally we wanted to use the word fugly to sell it, but we obviously changed that, he said. Mr. Eastway said the property had sat vacant for many years following the death of the previous owner, and nothing had been touched inside. The previous homeowner was in the property right up until his passing, but I'm not sure how he lived there. He was a bit of a hoarder and the property is now completely unlivable, he said. The backyard and inside of the house have been cleared of much of the mess to get it ready for auction. It took a lot of work just to make it presentable, as the house was covered in mosquitoes and entire sections of the floor were missing, according to Mr. Eastway. You could see dirt through the floorboards. You couldn't access the backyard at all. It was an absolute shocker, he said. There are currently no pictures on the listing of the inside of the property, which apparently is due to the practicalities of taking the images. What does that tell you guys? You really don't want to stand in the property long enough to take photos. The inside isn't interesting, as realistically any buyer would just knock down the whole home, Mr. Eastway said. Well, that's the thing. They're just selling the land. And you've got a, what, 10, 20 grand demo cost? Don't know what it is in Sydney at the moment. I mean, look at the garden. The average 3-bedroom house in Leichhardt goes for 1.3 million, according to realestate.com.au. Mr. Eastway said, while the current guide price was just under that at 1.1, he expected it would go for a lot more. It would go for a lot more. The average Leichhardt home is 180 square meters and 5 meters wide. This property is 10 meters wide and just over 300 square meters. So it is really a great opportunity for people that know what they're doing. I mean, okay, in all honesty, for a property of this width, and we'll have a look here, we'll jump here, for the site, you could get a nice house in there. You could. You can see it's a little bit wider than these other ones here. So you'd have some opportunities to do something nice, particularly with the beautiful trees there from an architectural perspective. From an architectural perspective. And what would you rather? Would you rather spend 925 grand plus your stamp duty on an apartment in a building where you're stuck with the body corporate and all the issue, or would you go on something like this for a little bit more? But this can't be considered entry level, guys. This isn't entry level, is it? Is this entry level in Sydney? Because damn, I'm glad I live in Brisbane. And I'm glad my parents picked Brisbane, really. Wow. The listing has already attracted plenty of interested buyers before its December 12 auction, with Mr. Eastway having already sent contracts to several prospective buyers or prospectives. And more than 100 people have inquired online about the listing. You could easily build a $2 million home on the property, and there are not many places for sale in the area of this size, he said. It is not the first property to issue a warning for prospective buyers. In early November, a 2-bedroom terrace house in Sydney's St. Peters was deemed unsafe in its current state and required viewers to be aged over 18 and to sign a waiver to get past the front door. I wonder if that was done with intention to get some media and publicity. I'm sure trying to ensure the real estate agent limited their liability, but I wonder, maybe I'm just too cynical, guys. Let me know what you think. The terrace house had an asking price of just $700,000, but ended up going at auction for $985,000, above the average price for an apartment in the neighborhood. Well, there you go. I mean, yeah, the garden needs a lot of work. What you're paying for is the land and the established vegetation. You could create some beautiful spaces around there as an architect. I see a lot of opportunity just with the light filtering through, so it could be quite a lovely space. Don't get me wrong. But is it worth $1.1 million? Here's the question. Here's the thing to consider. Here's the challenge I put to you all. Are we in... If we're in such a high value market, and Sydney house prices are rebounding, shooting back up according to CoreLogic. I think daily John Adams is sharing, it's gone up 0.25, it's gone up 0.25 again every day. The market doesn't move that fast in property. It takes a while to sell one of these things. Just the conveyancing process. And okay, I mean, you're close to the city, you're close to everything, reasonably close. Could someone let me know how long would the commute be in? So you're working right in the heart of the city. How long would the commute be in? I mean, it doesn't look that far, does it? It does not look that far. I mean, as far as the crow flies, what are we looking at? 5 kilometers in the city. Yeah, I'm not going to try and measure it. But within that sphere, how long's the commute? Half an hour? Could it get longer? I have a sneaking suspicion it might be an hour at some point. How bad is traffic in Sydney, guys? Come on, those of you in Sydney that are watching, please let us know in the comments. Let me know. But that's the thing. If we're in the middle of a housing bubble, say maybe to do with the aging population and people who are dying and wanting to sell on the property, or our population growth, maybe it would slow down in a couple of years and this type of stuff would fall by 40% perhaps, or 20% perhaps. How do you feel? Would it be worth it? Would it be worth still having that property in Sydney for the long term? That's something for you to decide. Let me know in the comments what you think. But I thought this is definitely one to share because it's just interesting to see. So the price, I mean, you could get if you get a block, if you get this for $1 million, say, let's do the sums. $1 million divided by 307. There you go. 3,200 per square meter. That's the cost. You could get a 300 square meter high-end house. So if you get a block of land somewhere for 100 grand, you could build a insane house for that money. Bloody good one. But there's the challenge. Where are you going to find a good block? Are you going to be that close to Sydney? But is the necessity to be that close to Sydney something to consider? Would it be smarter to go further out? Further out. Oh, it's playing up. Would it be smarter to go further out, cheaper land, maybe commute in, work remotely, and build a nicer house for that price per square meter? I mean, that'd be a nice budget to have as an architect. You got a client with a 3,200 square meter budget for a house. That's a nice one. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. If you like my content and want to help me produce more, you can support the channel through Patreon with a small monthly donation. I also have an affiliate link with Amazon and eBay, where I receive a small commission every time you make a purchase, and it doesn't cost you anything. And finally, I have PayPal and Ethereum if you'd like to make a direct donation. Every bit helps, guys. I really appreciate it. And oh, I shouldn't forget, we also have Heise Says merch, where you can get right now pocket squares, the first merchandise we've ever made. Check that out on the says.heise.com.au down in the link below. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.